higher spending on education increases enrollment for all, but especially for children in the poorest families. And this is what you see on the right-hand side figure. More specifically, an increase in government spending on primary education of 1% of GDP could reduce the gap in enrollment rates between the highest and lowest income quintiles by nearly 3 percentage points. But of course, it's not just the level of spending, but also the quality of spending that matters. And we very much emphasize this point in our analysis. Now, moving to social assistance. So COVID has clearly demonstrated how crucial it is to have a good social safety net. And two features define a good social safety net. High coverage of the population in the bottom quintile of distribution, and high adequacy. And as the left-hand side figure shows, high spending on social assistance is not always associated with better outcomes in terms of poverty reduction. And you see social assistance spending on the horizontal axis and the poverty reduction on the vertical axis. However, countries which are denoted here by green dots that have high coverage and high adequacy are actually the most effective in reducing poverty. So when it comes to specific social assistance programs, our analysis shows that in-kind transfers and fee waivers are not effective in reducing poverty. This is not shown on the slide, but what we show on the right-hand side is a level of spending by different types of social assistance programs. And what you can see is that spending on those types of programs which don't have a meaningful impact on poverty is actually quite high. Now, switching to taxes. So over the last 3 decades, tax policy has become less progressive. In part, this is due to a decline in top marginal tax rates, and this is what you see on the figure. So therefore, in terms of policies, which are summarized on the right-hand side, we recommend raising tax progressivity and strengthening overall tax capacity. But it's important to emphasize here that what and how should be done will depend on country-specific circumstances. For example, some advanced economies have room to increase top marginal tax rates. Others can achieve progressivity by addressing loopholes in the taxation of capital income. We also recommend temporary COVID recovery contributions. In the chapter, we also discuss wealth taxation. We note some of its benefits in terms of its effect on inequality, and also present some revenue estimates for a group of OECD countries. We also discuss trade-offs. So on balance, we recommend that before turning to new instruments such as wealth tax, countries should resort to more progressive income taxation. In emerging and developing economies where tax systems are less robust, the immediate focus should be on consumption taxes. And more generally, these countries should aim to gradually build up their tax administration's capacity by strengthening governance, and also taking advantage of the opportunities to leapfrog provided by digitalization. So results presented on the next 3 slides are based on cross-country and a single country surveys. While being high quality and vetted by researchers, some caution is warranted when interpreting the results of these surveys, because they may not necessarily represent people's views.